Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for Kenny Endo and the Taiko Center of the Pacific for the opening this year's Sharing the Spirit of Aloha Gala.
We'd love to ask everyone to come on in and find their seats and their seatmates, friends and family. Come on in because we'd love to get started with the first part of our program, and we've got a dynamite program planned for you tonight. So come on in, everybody. Find your seats, your friends. We're going to get started, all right? So, Steve, I'm going to do this very bossy thing.
Okay.
Shh. We'd love to get started. We've got a packed program, so if you can come on in, find your seats ever so quietly, we can get started. All right. Thank you. Shh. Okay. Steve.
That was amazing. All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Uehara. I'm honored to be back to serve as the MC for the 2015 Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii Sharing the Spirit of Aloha Gala. I am also very honored to be standing next to a very accomplished woman this evening. Joining me as the co-MC this year is a local girl, Jan Yanahiro. She grew up in Kalihi, graduated from Farrington High School. Jan lives in San Francisco, but she comes home as often as possible. She is an Emmy Award-winning journalist and was the first Asian American to host a television magazine show back in 1976. At lunch, she told me she also has 6 children, 3 of her own, 3 stepchildren. That's a lot of balancing to go with family and career. What she did not mention to me was that she was inducted into the Academy of Television and Radio Hall of Fame in New York City. How amazing is that?
Thanks.
It's a lot of pressure standing right next to this woman. Who also serves on the boards of the U.S.-Japan Council and the Christy Yamaguchi Always Dream Foundation.
And what Steve didn't tell you was that I am a 1966 graduate of Farrington High School. Yay, Farrington! Go Governors! And that when I started television, hosting a television show in San Francisco in 1976, that was the year Steve was born. I'm thrilled to be here with Steve Uehara, and I've been watching him every morning since I've been back. Sunrise on Hawaii News Now, and I hope all of you watch every morning. Come on, say you do. Yes? Woo!
Thank you. Even if you don't, you can still say you do. We appreciate it.
Steve is also an Emmy award-winning journalist, and he's recipient, and these are 2 really prestigious awards in our business. He is a recipient of the Edward R. Murrow Award and the Mark Twain Award. He is married to a former sports producer. This is a secret. She was his boss. Yes, at the television station. Well, they're married now, and they have a son who is 3.5 and a daughter who is just 1. So we're absolutely thrilled to be here tonight. We're here to honor, of course, outstanding community leaders, all of whom share the spirit of aloha, which is tonight's theme. And the honorees are, you can meet them up close and personal, but, we want to give a shout out. You can meet them quickly right now. The honorees tonight are John Hara. Come on, can you give a stand really quickly? Here he is, aloha. All the way from Japan and Hawaii, please welcome the legend, Jesse Kuhalua. Jesse, woo! Also sitting at that table, we have Alan Takemoto, one of the honorees tonight. Alan, stand up, give a wave. And of course, Olympic skater, gold medalist, Christy Yamaguchi is at the table. Christy. And finally, we'd like to say aloha to Tatsumi Hayashi and the Hawaii Internment Education Committee. Aloha.
We should also mention that you will be seeing several video cameras out here tonight. The event is being taped for public access television. It's going to be broadcast for Olelo Community Media.
Okay, so everybody will be on TV.
Everybody.
Now, we hope you enjoyed the reception and checked out the great silent auction items, lots of great items. And here's something especially for you sports fans out there. A Marcus Mariota autographed football. Woo! And from San Francisco, of course, a Klay Thompson autographed basketball, Golden State Warriors.
Very cool.
A package to see the San Francisco Giants thanks to Dwayne Kurisu, I am sure. And of course, Steve, I understand there's an opportunity to go golfing with you.
Okay, see, that's always a misnomer here. It's not about playing golf with me, and I think everybody knows that. It's all about the opportunity to be playing on the Sony Open Golf Course, Waialae Country Club. It's amazing. Tyler Tokioka takes us out every year. Our good friend Kip has been joining us the last couple of years. Maybe you can outbid him possibly this time around. The one thing that I do offer is that I make you look really good. And I think that they will testify to that fact. Your 150-yard drive to the left looks straight and narrow. It looks like 300 yards next to mine. So there you go. Bid on that. It's a great opportunity. So thanks for doing that.
Go golfing with Steve. All right.
Proceeds from the silent auction support the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii's programs and activities, including cultural festivals, school tours, and historic preservation projects. You'll have all through dinner to check out the items, so get out there, check on your mobile devices. Isn't that great? You can now do it right there at your table. And if you don't have a mobile device, see any of our bidding assistants, you can spot them. They're wearing the red lei, and they'll be coming around.
Okay, so bid often, everybody. Bid high, bid often. Now, during the reception, you may have met the 2015 Cherry Blossom Queen and her court. They are supporting us by helping with the lucky number drawing that will be held at the end of the evening. So get your lucky number tickets and enter to win one of 4 great prizes, including an iPad, a GoPro, a Aloha concert ukulele, or 160,000 Hawaiian Airlines miles.
Wow, must be present to win though, right? Gotta be here. So when you're checking out the silent auction, do not forget to also check out the lucky number prizes.
And remember, all of tonight's proceeds benefit the programs and operations of JCCH.
That said, we have some incredible guests. We have some incredible honorees. So we'd like to introduce you to a few more people tonight. As I call your name right now, please stand to be recognized. And we'll start with the Hawaii Governor, David Ige, and First Lady, Dawn Ige.
Aloha. Thank you for coming.
Next up, Consul General of Japan, Yasushi Misawa.
Domo arigato.
And also here this evening, Deputy Consul General Koichi Maruyama.
Now, we just introduced you to the honorees for tonight's event. Now we'd like you to meet their families who have come with them. So first up, Tatsumi Hayashi is here with his wife, Masako. Please, we'd love to say welcome to Masako. Thank you. Alan Takemoto is here with his daughter, Megan. And I got to meet Megan. So Megan, stand up and wave. There you go. John Hara is here with his wife, Marie. Marie, stand up. And they have their 2 daughters here, Mayumi and Kasumi. So give a wave, Mayumi and Kasumi. There they are. And of course, the legend, our sumo legend, Jesse, is here with his daughter, Rie Kuhulua. Rie, stand up. There she is. And Christy Yamaguchi is here with her husband, Brett Hedigan. Are you ice skating fans? You know Brett. Carolina Hurricanes right there. And they brought their 2 daughters, Kira and Emma. There they are right here. They're standing and waving. And we also have JCCH Board Chairman Brennan Morioka is here with his wife Janine. Brennan and Janine, stand and give a wave. There they are. And we also have JCCH President and Executive Director, a good friend of mine, Carol Hayashino is here, and her husband, Kyle Tatsumoto, flew in from San Francisco to be here tonight. Thanks, Kyle.
We also want to acknowledge some special guests in the audience. We have a lot to get through, so please hold your applause until the very end of this. We start with State Representative Bert Kobayashi, Hawaii State Legislature. Also, Council Member Ann Kobayashi, Honolulu City Council. Council Member Trevor Ozawa, Honolulu City Council. Kahu Kawila Clark. Bishop Eric Matsumoto, Honpa Honganji Mission of Hawaii. Dr. Robert Blythe Roman, Chancellor, University of Hawaii. Ms. Donna Volchevich, President, University of Hawaii Foundation. And Mr. Dennis Chun, Hawaii 5-0, he plays Sergeant Duke Lukela.
And also, couple more, and then we'll give them wild applause. Also, we'd like you to meet Mr. Lawrence Inamoto, President, Military Intelligence Service Veterans Club of Hawaii. Mr. Wayne Ishihara, President, Honolulu Japanese Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Tyler Tokioka, your golfing mate.
My buddy.
Yep. Chairman, Honolulu Japanese Chamber of Commerce. Lori Yamaguchi, Executive Director, Christy Yamaguchi's Always Dream Foundation. Dean Osaki, co-founder, Christy Yamaguchi's Always Dream Foundation.
Still got more. Mr. Dennis Teranishi, Chairman, U.S.-Japan Council. Mr. Cyrus Tamashiro, President, United Japanese Society of Hawaii. Mr. Brian Watase, Chairman, Honolulu Japanese Junior Chamber of Commerce. Ms. Kimberly Takada, Queen, 62nd Cherry Blossom Festival. Ms. Lenny Yajima, President, Japan American Society of Hawaii, and Mr. Tom Ikeda, Executive Director of Densho.
All right, now everybody, wild applause. Thank you all for coming. And now we'd like to say a special mahalo and thank you to our sponsors. And the sponsors are mighty important to help us continue the mission of the community. The Shogun sponsors for the evening, and I'm going to name them all, and then we're going to give them wild applause. AIO, Big Island Candies, Edward Enterprises, John Hara, and Monsanto. Please thank all the Shogun sponsors. Thank you. Mahalo.
But we have more. We'd also like to recognize our daimyo sponsors, Bank of Hawaii, Enterprise Rent-A-Car and National Car Rental, HouseSmart, Ben Franklin Crafts, and Ace Hardware, First Hawaiian Bank, Island Insurance Companies, Christy Yamaguchi's Always Dream Foundation, Servco Foundation, and Donna Walden. Ladies and gentlemen, our daimyo sponsors. We are also honored tonight to have the Hawaii State Governor, David Ige, to start the program off. He's here with some opening remarks. Governor.
Aloha. I am honored to be able to share the stage this evening with such a distinguished group of individuals that truly capture the spirit of Aloha. And I just wanted to congratulate the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii for their efforts to put this program together. Most importantly, I did want to acknowledge and honor all of the honorees who truly have shown dedication and passion in service to our community. They truly are the embodiment of the spirit of Aloha. For some, a working design professional whose buildings over a career and lifetime have come to redefine contemporary Hawaiian architecture in truly a unique way. For others, Jesse Kuhalua, who truly is a pioneering spirit, who really brought Hawaii to the traditional sumo world. I remember growing up, coming home to watch Channel 13 and seeing the sumo matches each and every night as Takamiyama wowed the crowd and truly made all of us here in Hawaii proud. And for Christy Yamaguchi, the Hall of Fame gold medal winner, what commitment to Hawaii and our community through her foundation. And then for those committed to preserving and ensuring that all of our community will never forget Honouliuli, Tatsumi Hayashi and Alan Takamoto, who really have committed to make sure that the Honouliuli internment camp will become a national monument. So I just wanted to congratulate all of the honorees for really your demonstrated dedication and commitment to truly inspire all of us here in Hawaii to be better than we can be. So congratulations to all. I look forward to a very, very exciting evening. Aloha.
Thank you to Governor Ige. And now I'd like to have you say aloha to someone who's newly arrived in the state. He's the Consul General of Japan. Yasushi Misawa was posted around the world, from Japan to Canada to Germany, and now, of course, to the 50th state, Hawaii. Please welcome the newly arrived Consul General of Japan, Mr. Yasushi Misawa.
Good evening. Aloha. Aloha. As just introduced, I have arrived in Hawaii just a week ago, and it is a great honor and a pleasure to be here in such an important evening event. I would like to express at first my congratulations to the 5 honorees, and I am very impressed with the achievement accomplished by these honorees. Tatsumi Hayashi-san, それから、it is very difficult to say for me, Mr. Jesse Kuhaulua-san. But it is known to me as Takamiyama. When I was a kindergarten, I just know only 3 small wrestlers. And the 3 main names is Taiho, Kashiwado, 2 Yokozuna, and Takamiyama. And Takamiyama is always my big star. And I'm very happy to be with you and say congratulations to you. And that also Alan Takemoto-san, おめでとうございます。And Miss Christy Yamaguchi-san, おめでとうございます。I did see also the Olympics on TVs, and I think that you are the most elegant figure skater whom I had seen. Therefore, it is also very great honor for me to be here and to say congratulations to you. And I arrived just a week ago and very busy meeting many community leaders. And I was also welcomed very well with warm aloha. And if this is an indication of my here in Hawaii, I truly feel that I'm in the land of paradise. And I hope during my tenure, I can closely work together with all of you who are here in this important evening. よろしくお願いします。Thank you very much. Aloha.
Thank you, sir. All right, now I know you guys walked to your table, you saw the poke and the poi, and you started drooling. And you guys are all ready to eat, right? Okay, so just be patient. We're almost there. At this time, I'd like to bring up Kahu Kawila Clark to say a few words of gratitude. Kahu.
The conch shell sounds to open up the universe. It's the vibrations that are sent out. O na ona I ka hale kalihua. Ke ala, ke apu, ke laula. E ala, e ala, e ala e. Eloa e. Eloe, Eloe. And the words of the chant simply says, we the people of Hawaii, we the flowers of Hawaii, have personalities, and the fragrance of the personalities are of aloha. And we seek aloha in the day, in the night, but especially at dawn. And we share that aloha as a gift from Keakua, from the Creator. And that is our gift to each other. And that is our blessing tonight. So what I want to do is give you a little bit of history that you might not know about my family. And then I also want to explain the deeper meaning of aloha. My family was sent to Japan in the 1880s. King Kalakaua, 134 years ago, went to Japan and signed treaties of friendship and commerce. And so that opened the door for Japanese to come to Hawaii. My kupuna, the Hakuole brothers, were sent to Japan, and they went to school with Hirohito. And they were supposed to take on Japanese wives, and Japan and Hawaii were supposed to come together by marriage. But what happened was the overthrow took place and they came home, so that didn't happen. But my wonderful cousin Jesse went to Japan and fulfilled the king's wish in that he married Japanese, and he has a beautiful Japanese daughter, and so the cultures combine. I had the privilege of serving for 17 years as the master potter at Chozenji, and learned a lot from Roshi Tanoi. And so he told me that there are no two closer cultures than Hawaiian and Japanese in terms of energy and process. And so he charged me to go out and teach aloha to the Hawaiian community. So it was a Japanese person that really set my path in what I'm doing today in sharing in aloha. And aloha, the deeper meaning of aloha, I'd like for everyone to stand up and pair off, because this is the true essence of aloha. Mr. Urihara, would you like to demonstrate with your ko? Put your right hand on the shoulder of your partner, left hand on the elbow. Touch your noses together and breathe in the breath of life. Don't be embarrassed. This is aloha. Breathe in the breath of life. Now this is called the honi. This is called the honi. Now the honi is to kiss on the lips, so don't get your honis mixed up. But the honi was an expression of a lifestyle. If you share your spirit, then you share everything. So when Captain Vancouver came and the Hawaiians went to honi Captain Vancouver, he stuck out his hand. And they said, ha'ole. This man has no spirit to share with us. And so the term came out, haole. So haole is not a skin color, it's a behavior. It's one who does not share their spirit. You know, when the haules came and they said, I'm hungry for bananas, the Hawaiian said, there's a banana tree, take what you need, and be sure to leave what you can for others. And what they did was took the whole bunch and sold it back to us. So we tried, it's an economic expression too, that you share with each other. Another thing Tanoi Roshi said was that the honi is really exemplified in Japanese culture by the gasho. When you bow, it's simply to respect the spirit of those that you're meeting, including respecting your spirit. So when you say aloha, it's important that you say it in respect to yourself and to the people you're around. Don't say it the Waikiki way. Aloha! Because if you emphasize the ha, you show arrogance. You're saying, I am all that. So you drop the ha in humility to yourself and those around you. Aloha. So the way you say it is important because it says something about you and what you intend to do. So I want you to enjoy, and I'm glad that we have this theme that's a wonderful theme, sharing in aloha. Right now I'm working with Chaminade University on an MBA program on Aloha in business. Because in Hawaii we do business different. And we'd like for those visitors that come here to do business to learn our way, not to force us into their way. So you are important and critical in sharing Aloha every day of your life. And I appreciate all of your abilities in doing that. But Aloha starts with your family, starts with you and your family. Because if you can care for your family, then the community will be cared for. Mahalo. Now, mahalo is the bookend word to aloha. Mahalo is thank you for making me a part of your spirit. So it's not just thank you, it's thank you for incorporating me in your life. So it's said with gratitude and with humility. Mahalo. And emphasize the ha. Mahalo. That's the spirit. Mahalo.
Well, I don't know about all of you, but I certainly learned tonight.
That was great.
So it's mahalo. All right. Thank you so much for that. Now, we're going to get to dinner in a couple seconds. Give us a few more minutes here. 2 more minutes. Few more announcements. Remember, silent auction open throughout dinner. Don't forget your lucky number tickets.
And if you need to validate your parking, and you know that's always a big concern, please go to the registration table to validate your ticket and then find the pay station in the ballroom to pay for your parking there.
All right, 2 very special entertainment groups to perform during dinner. Ukulele master Gordon Mark and Ohana Arts performing excerpts from the musical Peace on Your Wings.
First, though, Gordon Marks has performed as a soloist throughout Hawaii, most notably with the Honolulu Symphony. He is recognized as one of the state's foremost ukulele instructors. Also joining Gordon will be Alvin Okami from Aloha Ukulele up here on stage.
The days of wine and roses, laugh and run away, like a child at play through a meadowland towards the closing door, a door marked nevermore that wasn't there before. That lonely night discloses just that old passing breeze, filled with those memories of that golden smile that introduced me to the days of wine and roses and you. The lonely night discloses just that old passing breeze, filled with those memories of that golden smile that introduced me to the days of wine and roses, the days of wine and roses, the days of wine and roses, and you. Thank you. Thank you. Huh? 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 Yeah, yeah. I'd like to dedicate this song to my wife sitting back there. In real life, she's my funny Valentine. So, Trish, this is for you. My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, yet you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? But don't change a hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay, 'cause each day is Valentine's Day. Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? But don't you change a hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay, 'cause each day is Valentine's Day. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Fly me to the moon and let me play among those stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. 'Cause you are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. 'Cause you are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I said in other words, in other words, I love you. Aloha. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for Alvin Okami and Gordon Mark, huh? Okay, we do want to remind you, you have 30 minutes left for that silent auction. Don't forget, you can go and check out the items on your mobile device or just head out there yourselves. If you want to see it in person, including that Marcus Mariota football, you're going to be there for about 30 more minutes. Remember, there are monitors who are out there ready to assist or answer any questions that you may have. They're wearing the red lei. I do want to clarify because I made a mistake. For some reason, I was thinking Vegas, and I messed it up. But one of the items you can bid on, 4 tickets to Golden Moments Show by Christy Yamaguchi, which is still awesome. So go ahead and bid on that. The Marcus Mariota ball is out there. There's hotel stays. There's golf trips. So make sure you go out there. Just check it out and just let the moment move you. We'll be back. You guys have 30 more minutes. Thank you.
Welcome to the stage, Ohana Arts. Let's hear it for Ohana Arts.
Sometimes my life just feels like clockwork and I go through my routine. Go to school, come home, eat dinner, do my homework the next day, the same old thing. There's comfort in that feeling, but knowing you were always there. And though things have changed, it's taken me unawares. You are my rock when I need strength, my current when I need a guide. You are the shoulder I can cry on, my shelter when I need to hide. I could list 1,000 reasons why our friendship is so true, and I promise I will always be there for you. I'll write letters, even though you hear you can be promises. I love that. Tell me the truth. Are you scared? A little. Suddenly, it doesn't matter anymore. You get that wake-up call that brings you back real fast. You realize that you've been living in the past. All those days we should have cherished, and we'll never get them back. So let go of all the hurt you've been holding deep inside, and show the love you feel for life. Never let it hide. Always live for every moment, and live for every day. Never take this life for granted. Ichigo, Ichie. All the memories and the time with you I lost, and all that friendship this hurts and anger cost us, makes my heart ache with the sorrow deep and real. I miss being carefree and that warmth I used to feel. Let's fill the silence now with laughter, not the poison of a grudge. So let's move into a future where we're always hand in hand, treasuring the time we share, and always being friends. Through the life that makes us proud, life with no regrets. Make each day the kind of day we never will forget. There are things we'll never say, so much we'll never know. Once a friend is gone, we only have today. We can't hold on to forever. We hold the memories in our hearts, and we know it must move on. Never say a word today, 'cause tomorrow you'll remember we are given to again. Be together here now, not linger in the past. Find the joy in every day, make every moment last. Always say I love you, shouldn't be around goodbye. Never let love suffer, or friendship ever die. Till they never be tonight. So let's just live for today. Let's make the change and live the words. Ichigo, If you had just one wish, what do you think it would be? If it could be life-changing, a thought you only dreamed, a door once closed now opens. Suddenly you're free to choose your destination, unlikely as it seems. You'll fly, no boundaries in sight. We'll soar, and with all of our might, we will dance, we will sing, and the world will hear the ring from the bell toll. That's all of about the wishes they're gonna make when we fold 1,000 paper cranes.
Alright, the old legend. I'll hang them up.
I'd wish for no more sadness. Every day a holiday. Friendships never ending.
No families forced apart.
Lots of love and laughter. Fear gone away. One that's everlasting. No more broken hearts. You'll fly. No boundaries and space. We'll soar and with all of our might. We will dance, we will sing. And the world will hear the ring. When the bells toll, that's all of our words. You'll be the voice they can't hear. They'll see all our pain and our fears. Let us dance, let us sing. We'll let peace on your wings. And we'll fly all over the world.
The world can be hard and cold. You're the light that gives us warmth, the soul that gives us hope.
Together we will listen, show us lead the way. We must keep believing, never stray. You'll fly, we'll soar and with all of our heart. We will dance, we will sing, and the world will hear the ring from the bell toll. That's all of our Let us dance, let us sing. We will write peace on your wings, and you will fly all over. Let us dance, let us sing. We will write peace on your
Woo! Please give them a wonderful thank you. Ohana Arts, everyone. Ohana Arts. So really quickly, we want to call this section, this is a program, and we'd love for you to continue your coffee and desserts. But if you can do it again ever so quietly, shh, we would really, really appreciate it, because we're going to begin our second half of our program. But before we go into our second half, I just have to say, they are fabulous, Ohana Arts. And if you'd like to see them, and I hope you do, that you go to they're going to be at the Hawaii Theater August 6th to 9th. It's coming up. And if you call for tickets and you say the word peace, it's $5 off a ticket. So call for the tickets, Hawaii Theater, August 6th to 9th. Say the word peace, $5 off. Okay, see.
So you're doing 4 tickets. I mean, that adds up.
Yes.
That's serious money. We also have one of our special guests that came just a few minutes ago. We'd like to acknowledge Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Round of applause.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, thank you. And we have a few minutes left.
For
5 more minutes.
Silent auction is still going on, and the golf with Steve.
The golf at Wailea Country Club. Yes, that's still up for bid. 4 tickets to Golden Moments show.
Yes,
There you go.
Christy Yamaguchi's Golden Moments.
The football signed by Marcus Mariota, still up for bid.
Clay Thompson football from the Warriors.
That's right. And the owner seats at the Giants. Class organization, always in it.
If you haven't been to a Giants game, this is the way to go. Thank
This
you
is the
to
way to go.
Dwayne Kurisu,
Yes.
because he's one of the owners of the Giants. I have to say, full disclosure, Steve.
Yes.
I have sat in those seats at the Giants game,
Wow.
and they are fabulous seats. So go in bed. You've got 5 more minutes to bid for Steve, for Christy, for Clay Thompson,
Yes.
for the Giants. And then at 7:45, it will officially end,
Yes,
correct?
7:45.
Okay. So go often, bid high. We need your bids.
Should we just go?
Love to get started with the second half of our program. And Steve, I'm going to do this one last bossy thing once
Okay.
again. I am from Kalihi Valley
Yes.
after all.
Yes.
This is what happens. You're from Kalihi Valley, Farrington graduate. We'd love for everyone to find their seats and their table mates. We'd love to get started with the second half of our program. And we've got some fabulous honorees for you to meet. So, thank you. And if you can continue enjoying your coffee, desserts, ever so quietly, chew ever so quietly, that would be fabulous. All right. So
We should remind you,
Yes.
it's past 7:45. So that means the silent auction is officially closed. So if you did bid on something, make sure you check in with one of the attendees or outside in the table out there in the front. And we'd also like to thank Susan Smith and the Hilton Hawaiian Village staff. How about a round of applause
how
for
about
them, huh?
Hilton Hawaiian Village for serving us Hawaiian food? Thank you to the Hilton staff. Really fabulous. All right, we are going to get started with the second part of our program. We'd love for you to meet special honorees. Steve's going to introduce the very first honoree. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, shh.
And on that note, our first honoree, Tatsumi Hayashi and the Hawaii Internment Education Committee. Mr. Hayashi was born and raised in Tokyo. He lived and worked all over the world, from Fukuoka to New York to Frankfurt. He served as president and CEO of Pan Pacific Hoteliers, which included the Ko'olina Golf Club. 17 years ago, he started volunteering at JCCH, and it was he who researched and developed the JCCH Hawaii Japanese Internee Database. He says it is 99% accurate and completed. How's that?
Yes,
Yep.
right.
The database is the most comprehensive source of information on the Japanese Americans detained in Hawaii during World War II. Mr. Hayashi worked closely with the JCCH Hawaii Internment Education Committee. Together, they collected 6,000 signatures urging President Barack Obama and Secretary of the Interior Sally Jewell to recognize Honouliuli as a national monument. Please direct your attention to the screens.
I think we met Mr. Hayashi in the late 1990s. He said he had recently retired from Japan Airlines, and he went to a dinner and met Hideto Kono, who was quite active with JCCH at that time. And Hideto really convinced him to come and volunteer here because we needed bilingual people.
And in order to honor our heritage, we need to go back in time. When we go back in time, that means that there's going to be a lot of documents that are in Japanese language. Mr. Hayashi helps us to do that. He's volunteered for 17 years at the Culture Center. If I bring in a tohon, which is a birth register, he will take it and translate it, and so we will know who our great-granduncle is or who our grandfather is.
At that time, Jane and I been looking for the exact place where the Honolulu camp was. We had no idea. We made an inquiry to several places. Then we ended up with Larry Jeff, and then Larry took us out to the place. At that time, all we had was just a piece of pictures of the camp.
I knew we were in the right place, and he was very excited too, I'm sure.
Well, I had a chicken skin because, we never expected that we were standing on that ground.
And Mr. Hayashi became very aware that this younger generation needed to know about internment, but that some of the most valuable information was in Japanese. And so Hayashi translated Furuya's book, Haisho Tenten.
Haisho Tenten is Kumaji Furuya's memoir of his time in the internment camps. It's one of the very few memoirs by Hawaii Issei, and he's also the creator, the author of the JCCH internee database.
And the first thing that people want to know is, was my grandfather there?
I have 2,272 names.
And he's so generous in sharing the information on the database.
Because everything he does, he's not doing for himself. He's doing for the other person, and he's taking as much care and as much time with a total stranger as he would with a member of his family. All of a sudden one day he just sat there in the resource center and he said, "Oh, there's so much work to be done here." He says, "I can't retire. I can't even die."
With the addition of volunteer Japanese Culture Center, that made my life more sort of fulfilled.
Oh, Mr. Hayashi's work ties in very integrally with the work that the Hawaii Internment Education Committee is doing.
They are the basis of the educational outreach. They were the ones that instigated and collected 6,000 signatures. That led to President Obama designating Honolulu as a national monument.
Well, I know Hayek wants everyone to know just how much we appreciate all of their support, because we really believe it's been a team effort.
I am very thankful for all of the efforts that you have done for the children, for the education process, and for putting Honolulu on the map.
I'm really happy that they are being recognized, because a lot of times Betsy Young and I get recognized because we were working on this for so long, but the other people on the Hyatt Committee have worked just as hard, if not harder, over the last few years, and they're just as passionate about this.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tatsumi Hayashi and the Hawaii Internment Education Committee.
Good evening. I retired about 20 years ago. Since then, I never attended such a big function. So I hope I can finish my speech tonight. Governor Ige, Councilman Gabbard, Consul General Misawa, Chairman Morioka, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor and pleasure that I received the Spirit of JCCH Award on behalf of the Hawaii Internment Education Committee. I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to my fellow volunteers and the staff of JCCH who are always helpful to me. I also thank my wife, Masako, she's there, who has encouraged me all these years. I started volunteering at the resource center in 1998, about a year after I retired. One day, I attended a function and happened to see the late Mr. Hideto Kono, then a board member of the Culture Center. At that time, he asked me what I was doing after my retirement. I answered, golfing. He then asked me, what else are you doing? I said, golfing. He invited me, or rather forced me to work as a bilingual volunteer when I was not playing golf. So I began volunteering at the resource center. Unfortunately, I hurt my lower back several years later, playing 80 plus rounds a year. Now I cannot play golf, but I'm very fortunate to be able to work for JCCH. My first assignment was to translate a series of post-war radio script about the internment. This was my first encounter with the Japanese and Japanese American internment in Hawaii. I was living on the opposite side of the Pacific Ocean when the war broke out. So I have fresh memory of the war, especially air raid by the U.S. B-29 bombers. My volunteer experience has taught me a lot about Hawaii Japanese American history during the war. My main task as a volunteer at JCCH is to do Japanese to English translations or vice versa. During the first 18 years, I have assisted dozens of clients who wanted to identify their Japanese ancestors and to obtain their family registry, or in Japanese, koseki, from Japan, and then to translate those koseki into English. Some of them were lucky to find their relatives living in Japan and are constantly communicating with each other now. It's very thrilling to assist our client find their distant relatives they have not known before. Another task that I'm engaged in is a translation of an interment memoir by Mr. Kumaji Furuya. The book is titled Haisho Tenten, as you have seen the video, or Interment from Camp to Camp. It was originally published in Japanese in 1964. Mr. Furuya was arrested by the FBI several hours after the Japanese military aircraft attacked Pearl Harbor. He was incarcerated during the war at the mainland internment camps. Editing his memoir took over a year. I especially thank Sheila Chan, my fellow volunteer and co-editor, for her tireless assistance. Unfortunately, she's not here tonight. This English translation of the book is scheduled for publication sometime later this year. Last but not least, I've been working on the Hawaii Japanese internee database, which I developed for the last 10 years. We get many inquiries at the resource center from the families and relatives of the internees. To facilitate the searching process, I started compiling available information on the database just out of my mere curiosity. This was the first step in building our internee database. For each internee, the database contains name, place of residence, occupation, year of birth, interment history, and reference source of the 2,270 internees and their families. However, our database is not perfect as yet, and we need to update it constantly. It seems there's no end to this, but we definitely have to do it for a future generation. I will try to maintain my health and keep working for JCCH. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Mr. Tatsumi Hayashi and the entire Hawaii Internment Education Committee. Our next honoree is Alan Takemoto. Alan is the Community Affairs Manager for Monsanto. Alan made protecting Honouliuli his very top priority. As you may know, the camp was on Monsanto land. So Alan made sure that schools and the public and anyone who was interested, including me, we could visit the site. Now, Alan was born and raised right here in the islands, graduated from the University of Pacific. So the new Honouliuli National Monument is due in large part to Monsanto's donation and to Alan Takemoto, who shared JCCH's commitment to preserve and protect this internment camp for all of us to learn from. So, right now I ask that you direct your attention to the video screens.
Well, I grew up in Kailua ever since I was 2 years old. graduated from Gala High School, went to the University of Hawaii and majored in political science.
Oh, Alan, I met, I was thinking about that about 21 years ago. I know he looks like a baby still yet, but he is, fairly old. And I met him through Farm Bureau, actually.
The Hawaii Farm Bureau, which is a nonprofit agriculture organization, had an opening, and they needed someone to support all of their activities.
For somebody that you need to cover your back at any time, Alan is the best at that.
I transitioned to Monsanto as community affairs manager. I still am in agriculture, and that's what I really appreciate about where I am now is the connection between farmers and many of the issues that they are confronted with. Back in August of 2007, Monsanto purchased the area, and during that process and through the due diligence, they discovered they had a special site on premises. Through many discussions and talking with many of the organizations, we felt that it was important to preserve the area for the public. Through that effort, we joined up with Japanese Culture Center, the University of Hawaii, and many other organizations to see what is the best way that we can preserve this area.
They shared our commitment that the stories and the site needed to be shared with the public. So Monsanto and Alan saw to it that Honouliuli would be made publicly accessible. In the last 3 years, Japanese Cultural Center has been able to conduct 44 tours for schools and for the general public. Alan Takemoto has been part of majority, if not all, those tours.
Japanese Culture Center had so many volunteers that are dedicated to that cause. Inspired me to, as a Japanese American, to also do whatever it could take to also help the effort.
The success we had, in terms of having Honouliuli as a national monument, site visits were very critical, and it's really the heart and soul of what we were doing in terms of the whole campaign.
And that awareness led to this national movement and convinced the Secretary of the Interior and President Obama to preserve the site and to preserve it as a national monument.
Yeah, I never thought I would be a part of such a huge undertaking. Creating a national monument of this magnitude, not only for Hawaii but for the nation, is such an amazing experience.
He is really become a member of the family. And like a brother, he's someone I can count on. He'll be with us through the good times and bad times. Alan is part of our family.
It kind of brought me to tears, actually, for all those that have experienced internment in Hawaii and throughout the nation. It made me feel that all of this work was justified, and that this time and period that we would never experience again. So I was really excited about it. I continue to be excited about it, and there's a lot more work to be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage Alan Takemoto.
Wow, this is a lot of people. I've been in a lot of tough hearings, but this takes the cake. I can handle those tough hearings. This is a little difficult, so please bear with me. I'm a little nervous. Aloha. This is a good night, a great evening. First of all, I wanted to thank the Japanese Culture Center of Hawaii, Brendan Morioka, Carol Hayoshino, the board of directors, staff, and volunteers for this great honor. I'm deeply humbled by this recognition. I really appreciate JCCH as I have a greater appreciation for my Japanese heritage. As I was thinking of what to say tonight and reflecting back over this 7 years, I thought of a couple of things. I thought of how many people are involved, and I needed to acknowledge and thank. I also thought about the process of over 7 years of a roller coaster emotional event. From my first day in the Honouliuli internment site, going through 10 feet of brush. I don't know if anybody went through that. That was my first experience. To President Barack Obama's signing of the proclamation announcing the Honouliuli National Monument. To the blessing and dedication, so many emotions for so many people, including myself. Yes, I shed a tear or two or three. So much effort by so many. What a journey. And I am so thankful for being a part of this journey. I also thought about the many Japanese Americans, both in Hawaii and throughout our great nation, who sacrificed their livelihood and families during this difficult period of our history. And I think that was the driving force behind me that I needed to do and my small part in this big process. I thought about our own families of today and into the future, particularly my daughters, Chelsea and Megan, who carry this forward and into the future. I thought about the many new partnerships and collaborative efforts between organizations and individuals that have come together. JCCH, University of Hawaii, National Park Service, Monsanto, all working together for one cause. Who would have thought we would be working intimately together on such a significant part of our history? I would like to especially recognize the JCCH staff and volunteers who I've gotten to know better over these years. They were the driving force behind, and I couldn't say no to Carol or Betsy or Jane or any of the volunteers. Whatever they wanted, I said, okay, yes. They spent countless hours of coordinating meetings and tours with government officials, community groups, community leaders, you name it, schools. They spent hours. As the formation of the Honouliuli National Monument was a huge endeavor, our Monsanto employees all worked together as well. From our headquarters in St. Louis to our offices in Washington, D.C., my state and local government affairs team, our Hawaii leadership team led by Fred Perlak, to now John Purcell, to all of the Hawaii employees who helped me in all of the events leading up throughout the actual dedication. They are also behind me as well in all of the events and activities that we have done with JCCH. It's definitely been a team effort. So with the help of many individuals within the Monsanto family, I was given the honor, the ability, and the privilege to bridge different worlds, different people, and different focuses together for one undertaking of creating a national monument in Hawaii. Wow. I definitely couldn't have done this by myself, as there was many people involved. So on behalf of Monsanto, on behalf of myself and my family, I am so honored and appreciative for this recognition and for allowing me to be part of this historic event. Mahalo. But it doesn't stop there. We have a lot of work to be done. As Monsanto has already donated 123 acres of land, and another 22 acres is on its way. I'm so proud to announce that Monsanto will also be pledging $100,000 over the next 5 years to JCCH for the implementation of its Honouliuli educational initiatives. Thank you. We need to keep the spirit alive, the spirit of Aloha, and educate others into the future. And I'm so happy to be part of that. I'd like to invite our Vice President John Purcell and members of the Monsanto team to the stage to help me present a check to Chairman Brennan Morioka and President Carol Hayashino. Thank you.
It's coming, Carol.
Check in the mail.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alan. Congratulations. Thank you to Monsanto. And now for our next honoree. As an architect, John Hara's buildings have won more than 50 design awards. He is devoted to designing sites and buildings that redefine Hawaiian architectural traditions. He is also committed to making sure his buildings are environmentally sustainable. You can see John's designs all over the islands. Case Middle School at Punahou, Honolulu Museum of Art, as well as buildings on the UH campus, Mid-Pacific, and Kamehameha School. John Hara has personally received many awards and honors, including being named a Fellow of the American Institute of Architects in the category of design. He serves on many boards and lends his expertise to the State Advisory Committee on Honouliuli. Ladies and gentlemen, his story.
I was born in 1939. I grew up on Nu'uanu Avenue. My first job in high school was playing fourth oboe for the Honolulu Symphony, which is amazing at that time since the orchestra was professional and semi-professional.
He's a serious music lover. At one point, I believe he was going to be a professional oboist, and he made the choice to instead go into architecture. He went to the University of Pennsylvania, and then from then he went to Paris and Europe and studied great architecture that we don't have here, and he came back to Hawaii to attempt to bridge that gap.
Somewhere along the line, I got married to Marie. I opened my office in 1970. I've been practicing ever since.
John Hara is being honored tonight by the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii, primarily because of his involvement and his participation in really building our communities here in Hawaii, across our state. Just his ability to take the surroundings and the surrounding environment and putting a facility in there that really seems seamless or seems to have always fit into that place.
John has a unique, sensitive touch, combines contemporary architecture with beautiful kind of subtle Japanese features in the interiors.
He's well known for doing the Honolulu Museum of Art, and there's several parts of that building that he's worked on. At a young age, he was already interested in the arts, and luckily for him, his parents put him into the Linakona Art School. So he was able to come back after studying and growing as a professional and build the back galleries.
It's one of my favorite pieces of John Hara architecture. He's done many projects at Punahou, and I particularly like the Maui Cultural and Arts Center.
I was able to listen to Yo-Yo Ma there recently, and it was like the best acoustics I've ever heard in Hawaii.
John Hara is an architect who will go down in Hawaii's architectural history. He's a great architect. He's done beautiful work. It's timeless. And like Asipaf, his work will span the generations.
I think it's important to realize that we live here in a very special place. The people are very special. Of course, the culture in which we live is equally as special. And to maintain that, I think, is very important.
I think over the years, my father has been a mentor and a teacher to many people in the architectural community, and he's kind of shown them actually how to be an architect.
2 words: hardworking. He's always been someone who has shown us what it takes to run a business, especially in architecture, which is such a difficult field.
I feel very lucky to have worked for my dad because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to work with their parents, and I feel that I've learned so much from him and I've seen a different side to him.
John, we just want to congratulate you and thank you for your role in helping to build our community. I think not enough people give credit to those like you who really take the time to understand the needs of the community, and we are very grateful and appreciative for what you have done and hopefully what you will continue to do for our community.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. John Hara.
Hello and good evening to everyone. Thank you very much. I was surprised and moved by this great honor. While I'm certainly much more comfortable drawing or discussing building plans and speaking in public, there are just a few remarks I would like to add. First, I wish to acknowledge those community leaders who were honored in the past by the JCCH. In them, the spirit of Aloha, the freedoms of America, and the Japanese-American values of Hawaii come together in an enlightened way. From the late U.S. Senator Daniel K. Inouye to all the major figures of our community, these leaders represent all aspects of life in Hawaii today. They're the ones whose continuing practice and revitalization of cultural ways teach us respect for essential ideas. I think we are living in a time when it is urgent that we consciously, actively make our culture day by day, rather than assuming that whatever creative making by artists and other designated individuals which happens to occur around us will somehow be adequate. While the government funding of roads, transit systems, and other basic necessities is obviously important to our quality of life, it is, in fact, the passionate exploration of ideas in our creative making which both determines and demonstrates who we are as a society. As an architect, the first one to receive this JCCH recognition, I must add that I believe the award points to the fact that all of us in the design professions in Hawaii have not only a special opportunity, but also an obligation to use the public and private projects in which we are involved to open the door to artists of all kinds. Many of us can and already do much to stimulate new creative work on an ongoing basis. In fact, we as design professionals have the power, if we take it on, to experiment widely in establishing public places where the work of artists can comment upon, question, and ultimately enlarge how we envision our concerns and our identity. For a vigorous, increasingly diverse society, the forging of creative models for ongoing change is our strongest road for the intelligent channeling of social attitudes. Good architecture reflects the involvement of all people in their culture, which, of course, is what creative making in the arts is all about. I hope that this event can spur in each of us a concern for the role of the arts. Contemporary culture has the capacity to nurture creative making in ways that are collaborative, compassionate, and filled with potent ideas. Why wait to accept what may be thrust upon these islands by default at a time of global change? The challenge is clearly here and now. Lastly, I could not have come this far, of course, without the support and friendship of people I work with and clients I work for. Thank you. And special acknowledgement must go to Marie, my bride of 47 years, daughters Mayumi and Kasumi, sons-in-law Frank and Evan, and 3 grandchildren, all of whom made this evening for me possible. Thank you once again.
Thank you, John. Congratulations. Our next guest, for lack of a more articulate way of putting this is just really cool. Jesse Kuhalua is a living legend both here in Hawaii and in Japan. Jesse was born and raised on Maui and went to Japan in 1964 to take up sumo wrestling. Now, initially, he wanted to do sumo to strengthen his legs for football, as he was an all-state tackle in high school. This was just a second sport. This is just to stay in shape. His professional name was Takamiyama, and he was the first foreign sumo wrestler to win a tournament championship. Jesse retired in 1984 and opened his own sumo stable. As a stable master, Jesse coached another Hawaii-born wrestler, Chad Rowan Akebono, who would later become the first foreigner to achieve the rank of Yokozuna. Jesse's accomplishments as a sumo wrestler and a stable master make him a goodwill ambassador of Aloha in Japan. Ladies and gentlemen.
I was born on the old Manalani Hospital. Then graduated from Bowen High School.
He really is a pioneer, being one of the first foreigners to go to Japan and enter the world of sumo.
They've been scouting me for about 3 years at the ending of my sophomore year in high school.
Entering sumo and living in the stable Obeya, it's a cross between prison and a military. And life there is very brutal and survival of the fittest.
I think the only word that I knew is in Japanese is arigato or Fujiyama. Then my second year, I started going through hardship, They start picking on you and it was hard. I was a little bit homesick. Lost my voice from sumo wrestling. I got my hair banged up, it was hard. Going into my third year I started really improving. I think I had a chance, maybe a chance.
Well, at that time, being, the only foreigner, of course he looked a little different, and he had those side chops that he became famous for.
And we would just wait all night just to watch Takamiyama play in his matches, and just watching a Hawaii boy on TV in Japan doing as well as he did is some of my most fondest memories as a kid.
Well, in 1971, the man who scouted me, who brought me to Japan, number 4, Takasako, passed away. 11 months later, I won my tournament, and I was very happy about that. The only thing that I wish that he was there to see me winning the tournament.
Besides winning the tournament in Nagoya in 1972, is he holds what we call the Ironman, most of the Ironman records for longevity, number of matches in the top division, number of wins in the top divisions, and number of tournaments in the top division. He retired and later became a stable master. He's the first foreigner to become a stable master or oyakata. He produced the yokozuna in Chad Rowan, known as akebono. So he has a wide record of accomplishments in Japan.
If it wasn't for him, people like Kunishiki and Akebono and Musashi Maru and others, I don't think would have ever had that opportunity.
Jesse is known as Jesse, or in Japan, Jeshi. You mentioned the name Jeshi. Everyone knows who that is. His legacy to me is ambassador. He has bridged the gap between Japan and Hawaii.
Being able to see another Hawaii boy out there making a big name and on TV, I think is very important in our Japanese American experience here.
When I went to Japan, I really worked hard, and that's why a lot of people respected what I did. Working hard paid off.
Jesse, I just want to thank you and congratulate you on this honor. We as a generation are very appreciative and thankful for everything that you did to help bridge that experience and really introduce sumo and Japan in general. Congratulations and thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jesse Kuhalua.
Aloha, everybody. Thank you very much for honoring me this evening. It is a great honor for me to be recognized with Christy Yamaguchi, which I met Christy when we were in Japan 2011 for the earthquake and tsunami in 2011. It is always good to be home. Some people ask me, you've been in Japan for 51 years, 6 months, 2 days. Yeah, because August 23rd will be my 6 months that I will be. 51 years and six months. So I've been away for quite a long while. Let me assure you that while I live in Japan, the reason why I live in Japan, because the people are so wonderful. I got so many friends in Japan now, and it's hard, But I'm just proud, but my heart and soul is still here in Hawaii. I think I made my best decision in 1964 when I graduated at Bowen High School a year later. I really wanted to become a policeman. Yeah, really. I really wanted to become a policeman, but in the back, people were trying to get me to go to Japan, which I didn't know. But there were special people there, like my sumo coach, Ogo Isamu, Ogo Sarawa, who during high school, my 4 years in high school, at Bowen High School, taught me the art of sumo. And my former football coach, Larry Shishido, who encouraged me to take sumo wrestling for football. And also people in Honolulu, like Katsumio, he was like a father to me, who really encouraged me and tried to make me go in the right path. Ralph and Puku, they're all 442nd veterans people. And the former and the one and last will be then Governor Burns, who encouraged me because he felt that he really wanted to promote a better relationship between Japan and Hawaii. I am so grateful for support and love. That love and support helped me go on when things were tough. I had a young student learn about my story. I'm glad that the story inspired others. I am glad to be a role model for others. As a Oyagata, I taught my students for 25 years discipline, respect, honesty, and gratitude. What did I learn from life about success? To work hard to make a dream come true, to be patient, to be polite, to keep my word, to be humble. Thank to the people who give your support. I always look forward. Go for broke. Thank you, Japan Culture Center, for this honor. Thank you all for your warm aloha. Aloha. Thank you.
The legend himself, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Jesse. Our next honoree, well, she was born and raised in Fremont, California. But Chrissy Yamaguchi calls Hawaii her second home. She was married on the Big Island. She has a home on Maui. And every year, the entire Yamaguchi clan and mom and dad are here, along with sister and nieces and everyone. They come to Hawaii to vacation. It's like a family reunion. Christy won the Olympic gold medal in skating at the 1992 Winter Olympics. She was the first Japanese American to win in that category. Through the years, Christy has received many awards, and how many of us were so proud when she won Dancing with the Stars? Yes, she won that mirror ball. She's been inducted into the U.S. Figure Skating Hall of Fame and the United States Olympic Hall of Fame. Christy has written several children's books. Perhaps some of you have bought it for your children and grandchildren. I love the first book's title. It's called Dream Big, Little Pig. She has, through the years, launched her own clothing line, Suya. Order it, it's fabulous. And she founded her Always Dream Foundation because the title says it best. She wanted children everywhere to always dream. It is with this foundation that Christy has contributed to JCCH's Okage-sama-da, a program that has allowed 5,000 children from Title I schools right here in the islands to visit the JCCH and to learn about the Japanese culture and to learn about all the island communities. She's now supporting several elementary schools right here in Honolulu in early literacy. Here's a video to tell the rest of the story.
Well, I think ballet is something my mom wanted to put both my older sister Lori and I in, and I was born with very turned in feet and had a lot of corrections done when I was younger, so any kind of dance, my mom was trying to get me involved in. And then eventually skating came along and I started that at about 6 years old. For some reason, skating was very magical to me when I first started it, and I saw a local ice show and fell in love with the performance, with the skaters, the costumes, the music, everything about it. So at 16, I went to the World Junior Championships, and in both pairs and singles, and we won both events. So in 1992 was an incredible year. After the national championships and when I was named to the U.S. Olympic team, I think it was one of my proudest moments, and I knew it was something that I had been working for 14 years.
Great artistry, great choreography, and a big opening. Triple Lutz into triple toe loop. Triple Lutz, triple toe loop.
When the results came out, of course, I was just blown away, and every emotion that you could possibly feel in one moment flooded me.
At 20 years of age, Christy Yamaguchi becomes the first American women's gold medalist since Dorothy Hamill in 1976.
So Dancing with the Stars was a crazy, incredible experience. I was invited to take part and actually thought about it for about a month.
We actually were encouraging her to participate in the show. We thought that it would be great. So she did, and just to win the Mirror Ball trophy was sort of icing on the cake.
Well, back in 1996 was when the Always Dream Foundation was established. After the Olympics, I started working with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and it was the first time I had been exposed to that kind of nonprofit work and the difference that you can truly make in a person's life.
It was really established to become Christy's platform to make a difference in the local community. I remember clearly it was her mom who had a conversation with me about, how can Christy really have an impact in the local community?
So through the 19 years now of existence, we supported a lot of different causes, and about 4 years ago we really narrowed our focus into early childhood literacy. At the time, my children's books had just come out. I became a children's book author. My own 2 children were learning to read. So the Always Dream Foundation has recently adopted 2 schools to serve here in Hawaii, and partnering with Hawaii P20, we're bringing in an innovative reading program to the kindergarten classrooms.
The foundation does have some roots here. It just was really a natural place, I think, for us as we were looking to expand outside of California.
Christy's Always Dream Foundation has been so supportive of the JCCH over the last few years. Christy's donations have made it possible for over 5,000 low-income students to visit the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii Historical Gallery, and they have been able to learn about Japanese history and culture in Hawaii. Christy, thank you so much for supporting the JCCH, and congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Thank you for inspiring children to fulfill their dreams.
Well, there's so many things about Always Dream that feel so rewarding, and I think it just motivates us to want to do more and more. And being able to bring several thousand kids into the JCCH here, I think, is one of those things. So it's just really an honor and humbling to receive the recognition.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a Hawaiian welcome and to our favorite Olympian and Dancing with the Stars champion, Christy Yamaguchi.
Whew, all right, thank you. Aloha. I'm certainly humbled and honored as well to receive this award. I'd also like to congratulate the other honorees. I too share a passion for our community alongside of it, so it's an honor to be recognized alongside of you. First, I'd like to thank the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii for this recognition, especially our friend from the Bay Area, Carol Hayashino, Brennan Morioka, and the Board of Directors and the staff for your everyday dedication toward ensuring that we preserve our Japanese American heritage. Next year, My Always Dream Foundation will be celebrating its 20th anniversary, and throughout our journey of making a difference in the lives of children, we've also always remained very engaged and supportive of the important role that community centers provide for our evolving Japanese American community. Over the years, as you saw, we've developed a very close, great partnership with the JCCH in their educational programs, and we've been able to fund over 5,000 school children from Title I schools to be able to come in and allowing them to tour the facility to really experience the rich historical exhibits and learn about the culture of the Japanese Americans here in Hawaii has been an honor for us to be a part of. Equally important to me is the preservation of our rich Japanese American history, and organizations such as the JCCH play such a significant role in sharing our stories. Both of my parents and their families experienced the injustice from the internment camps, and I'm honored to say that my grandfather served proudly as a sergeant in one of the few non-segregated units, the 100th Infantry Battalion, overseas in World War II. So certainly sharing and preserving these stories and being able to educate my daughters and future generations is very important to me. So I applaud the leadership of the JCCH and the countless volunteers, including the individuals who are being honored tonight, for inspiring President Obama to designate Honolulu as a historic national monument this past February. You certainly are true heroes in preserving our history, so these experiences are truly important for us to foster stronger communities. So thank you for your tireless dedication. As you heard Jan say, my family and I really do view Hawaii as a home away from home for us. We love everything about it, especially the kind human spirit. So we certainly are proud as the Always Dream Foundation to be able to make that commitment and expand here to Hawaii and support underserved schools. The past 5 years, my foundation is focused on early childhood literacy and parent engagement. And of course, being a mom of 2 young daughters and a children's book author, I know that the cornerstone from which academic success and life success is built upon. So along with our partner here in Hawaii, Hawaii P20, we've adopted Linapuni and Kalihikai Elementary Schools on Oahu, and we definitely have plans to expand not only to other schools here, but also in neighboring islands. So I'm honored to be able to make that commitment here in Hawaii, especially a place that is so dear to my heart. Another thing, we have some fun news to share is that we will be bringing back figure skating to Blaisdell Center, which will serve as a fundraising show to help us locally here and support what we're doing. So we'll keep you posted on all of that. Several of our members of the local advisory council are here with us tonight. So I just want to do a quick shout out to Carol Haishino, once again, Christine Kubota, Kurt Osaki, Leanne Miyasato, and Hoyt Zia. So thank you so much to all of you for your endless support. I also want to thank the First Lady, Don Iga, for your support. We're certainly honored to have you serve as our honorary chair. So thank you for graciously doing that. Our expansion here in Hawaii definitely wouldn't happen without all of your support. In addition to all of them, I have some other key members of the Always Dream Foundation, 2 longtime board members, Tom Fujisaka, who is here. Hi, Tom. Our wonderful MC tonight, Jan Yanahiro, and co-founder and good friend, Dino Saki. And then I'd also like to thank my family, my husband, Brett, and our 2 daughters, Kira and Emma. They were practicing their wave earlier today. Also my mom and dad, Carol and Jim, and my sister Lori Yamaguchi, who also serves as the executive director of Always Dream, her husband David, and their 2 beautiful daughters, Maya and Ava. Well, I definitely have to say my past and present success is due to my family's unwavering support and love, and our extended ohana here, who shares our passion and our commitment to the community and our kids here in the community. Thank you so much. I'm truly honored tonight, and for everyone, I am who I am because of you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Christy. And as a board member, as I'm on Christy's board now for 19 years, so it's my duty to say that I'm really proud that Christy has brought her foundation and the early childhood literacy to the schools here in Hawaii, of course, my home state. And I'm really proud that she is bringing back ice skating. It'll be the 3rd weekend in November, a Friday and a Saturday. Bring all your friends. Come to the skating shows. She's bringing Brian Boitano and Yuka Sato and skaters from Japan and all over the United States. It's going to be a great 2 skating shows. And the greatest news for me as a board member and as somebody from Hawaii, all the net proceeds from those 2 skating shows will stay right here in the state and will support more elementary schools in early childhood literacy. So definitely good things are ahead. And now this time, I'd like to please bring back all the honorees, and I'd like to welcome to the stage Governor David Ige and Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard to the stage to present special certificates to all the honorees tonight. So let's bring them all back up. And here comes our governor and our congresswoman.
Aloha and good evening. Very quickly, I just wanted to add my congratulations as well to these tremendous honorees who have truly displayed to us here tonight humility, strength, and courage through each of their experiences, setting such a great example for all of us and epitomizing what it means to share the spirit of Aloha with all. Mahalo to Carol and Brennan and the entire team here at JCCH for bringing us all together this evening and giving us a chance to personally give thanks to them for their commitment to service and Aloha. Mahalo.
All right, thank you, Governor Ige. Thank you, Congresswoman Galbard. We want to congratulate our 2015 honorees for their work to support the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii and for improving our community in the state of Hawaii. You truly are an inspiration for all of us. So thank you for everything that you do. Coming up in just a bit, we do have the lucky number drawings, which of course includes 160,000 Hawaiian miles. Isn't that great?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But before we do that, please welcome to the podium right now Brennan Morioka, Chairman of the JCCH Board of Directors, and President and Executive Director Carol Hayashino for some closing remarks.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we acknowledge Steve and Jan for co-hosting this evening? They've been just great. You know, it's been a wonderful evening for us, and I hope for you as well. Governor, Council General, honorees, and all our friends, thank you for joining us this evening to celebrate the spirit of Aloha. As the program draws to a close, I want to once again congratulate our very distinguished honorees. One more round of applause, please. Thank you for your remarkable work in design and architecture, business and historic preservation, children's literacy, sports, and for promoting Hawaii-Japan relations. We are truly grateful for all that you do for our community and our state.
And I know you saw their names scrolled on the screen all night tonight, and Steve mentioned them earlier, but I think it deserves mentioning again all of our event sponsors. Thank you to our Shogun sponsors, AIO, Big Island Candies, Monsanto Hawaii, and Edward Enterprises. Your generous support will help us continue our work to preserve, honor, and share the unique history and culture of Japanese and Japanese Americans in Hawaii. You know, our heritage, our culture, our history is such a beautiful and powerful thing here in Hawaii that it deserves to be shared and preserved, not just with our community, but with across our country and with our friends across the world. So thank you also to our Daimyo sponsors, Bank of Hawaii, Ben Franklin Crafts, Enterprise Holdings, First Hawaiian Bank, Island Insurance Foundation, Christy Yamaguchi and the Always Dream Foundation, and Servco. And I was told that Servco is at table 15 and that if anyone is looking for a brand new Toyota, please see them after the event.
And if you need a car loan, the Bank of Hawaii, Central Pacific, First Hawaiian is also in the room.
We got them all. And a final word of thanks to the Bushi event sponsors and the many silent auction contributors, donors, and to all of you for attending here this evening. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I also want to express our deepest appreciation to all of the hundreds of volunteers who work behind the scenes to plan and produce tonight's award gala. We hope you enjoyed the performing artists, Taiko Center of the Pacific, Gordon Mark, and Alvin Okami, and Ohana Arts. And thank you for contributing your time, talents, and energy to the evening here tonight. Most of all, to all of you for being here and joining us in this celebration. Mahalo. I just want to point out for the honorees, Alvin Okamikana is setting the litmus or the bar for past honorees. Alvin and his wife was honored 2 years ago, and now he has performed at the last 2 galas. So just a hint to the honorees tonight what you're getting yourself into.
Christy will be back to do her Dancing with the Stars routine.
So together with all your support, we will continue to move JCCH forward by developing new relevant programming, meaningful community service, and innovative partnerships.
Last year, we had a remarkable year being invited to the White House and meeting President Obama, and just the working with so many people across the nation to help create this new national monument for the state of Hawaii. This year, we continue to have big plans and big dreams for the organization, but first and foremost this year, we're going to continue to be good stewards of our own home by making some capital improvements to the center. In the fall, There'll be improvements to the Manoa Grand Ballroom as supported by a $450,000 grant from the state of Hawaii. Thank you, Governor. Our Resource Center, the home to our special archives and historic collections, is going to be upgraded. And in the spring, our community gallery will be transformed into an educational center to support our expanded outreach to high schools and college students and the general public. With your continued support, your involvement, we will continue our work to be a vibrant resource, strengthening our diverse community by educating present and future generations in the evolving Japanese American experience.
And again, on behalf of the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii's Board of Directors and our staff, thank you for all honoring our heritage, embracing our diversity, and sharing the spirit of Aloha.
We'll look forward to seeing you next year. And drop by and visit us at the Japanese Cultural Center. Thank you all.
Aloha.
All right, now the lucky numbers, and you must be present to win, right, Steve?
Yes, got to be here.
Right.
If not, sorry.
Yes, and you can be present to win an iPad, a GoPro, a Aloha ukulele, or 160,000 Hawaiian miles. So before we get to that, we'll pick the winners, but we'd like to announce a winner for the $150 gift certificate, courtesy of Island Insurance Companies. Thank you, Colbert. Thank you, Tyler. Everyone who pre-registered on the online auction were eligible, and the winner is Catherine Moritomo at table 53. So, Catherine, at table 53, congratulations.
Congratulations. She doesn't need to come up, does she? Can we give it to her later? Okay, Catherine, just come up whenever you have time. And on that note, we're going to do the lucky number drawings. The first drawing is for the GoPro.
Right here. There you go. All right, GoPro.
Here you go, John.
I'm going to do it. And here we go. The ticket number is 538307. 538307, and there's no name on the back. So 538307, GoPro. Oh, I hear applause.
Have one. There we go.
I hear somebody coming. Woohoo! It's a great camera, by the way. Oh, your wife won it, but she made you come up and get it. It's okay. Good husband. Smart husband. Okay, there you go.
Next up, the Apple iPad Air 2. Ooh, here you go, Jen.
Okay, I get to do it again.
Yep. It's too much pressure.
For Steve. All right. The ticket number is 538588. 538588. Oh, applause. I can hear applause. Yes, she's checking. She's standing. She's coming. 538588. Yes? She's checking.
Looks like a yes.
iPad. You got the iPad? Okay. Yes? Yes. Come on up.
Yes.
Okay. Give her
Congratulations. Next up, the Aloha concert ukulele valued at $1,000.
Okay. And the winning ticket is 539050. 539050. 539050. Oh, way in the back. They're applauding. 53 checking. You're checking. He's checking on the way. 539050. Yes? All right. You've won the ukulele. Aren't you glad you stayed? Yes, you did. You are glad you stayed. Okay.
Okay, the one with by far the most tickets, we have 160,000 Hawaiian miles.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Digging way at the bottom and going for it.
Right.
Okay, here we go. This ticket, oh, it's here. 285016. I heard a scream.
I don't know if there was screams of joy.
Yeah.
I think those are...
missed 285016. Oh, way over here.
Hey!
A former board member has won. He served well. We appreciate it. So thank you. All right.
No, go ahead.
So congratulations to all the lucky draw winners. Thank you for participating, everybody.
Just a friendly reminder that if you bid on a few items in the silent auction this evening through one of our bidding assistants and don't have a mobile device, please see a bidding assistant. Of course, they're wearing the red lei to see if you won. The checkout is going to be open until 9:30 p.m. tonight. I also wanted to thank Ryan Kawamoto, who put together those great videos that we had this evening. Weren't they great?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, great videos.
Spectacular.
And I hope you have a great golfing outing, Steve.
I hope so too. I feel bad for whoever's with me. But again, it is Waialae Country Club. Before you leave, please remember to pay for your parking at the pay station in the lobby before getting into your car. And on behalf of the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii, mahalo guys. Thank you everyone. Please drive home safe.
We'll see you next year. Good night, everybody.